Is a demo of how to get started with bcrypt in setting up authenticating users with Rails. So I'm going to start off by creating a new Rails project, Rails new demo app, and I'm going to create this in Postgres SQL. And I'm going to run the -t option so that I do not have the unit tests. I'm going to cd into the demo app. I'm going to open this up in my Sublime text editor. If I look at my database.yaml, we'll see that I am set up with Postgres SQL as my default database. I'm then going to set up my gem files. You may notice that down here I have bcrypt, gem bcrypt, and it is currently commented out. I want to use bcrypt, so I'm going to comment this back in. I'm then going to run bundle install so that I have bcrypt to use. And if I go to now, if I generate a model, I can generate Rails G model, a new user. I'm going to give him a name, which is going to be a string text field, and also an email, which is also going to be a string, and password, which is going to be of type digest. So digest is the type that we use to have bcrypt encrypt our password for us. I'm then going to run this generation file. And I will have created this migration file right here, where I have a password digest. I want to run rake db migrate so that I make this change to my database. However, because I am using Postgres SQL, I'm going to need to run rake db create first. You only need to do this with Postgres and not with SQLite. So now I've created my database. I can then run rake db migrate. And that will migrate my database. And I can confirm that it has been correctly migrated by checking my schema file. And I can see that I have this password digest field in this users table along with all the other attributes I created. If I look at my user.rb, my user model, I'll notice that I have this has secure password line on line 2. And that's auto-created by bcrypt when I create this password field and allows us to use bcrypt's password functionality. Now, if I were to go into the Rails console and I were to look at all my users, they would be empty. But if I look at the user class, I will notice that I have this password digest field, which is a string. And so when I create a user, I will create it with a password, and then it will get stored into active record in the database with password digest, where it is the encrypted version of the password. So I can do user.create. I'm going to set a name, my own name. I'm going to set a email. So Shane at example.com. And then I'm going to also set a password, which is, let's just say password. So if I try to do this, I will create a password. And you'll see that the password is stored as a password digest here. Okay, and that's how we use bcrypt because this basically sets up our user for us and it encrypts that password. If you wanted to grab the password digest, if you want to authenticate the user, you could also now do like u1 equals user.first, and then I could authenticate whether the password was correct by putting my password string into here. And if it's correct, it will return the user. If I put the incorrect password, such as by adding an X at the end of my word password, then it will return false and show me that my password was not correct for this user, and therefore the user is not authenticated.